All right, let's dive into something pretty cool today. Ecosia. It's a search engine, but with a bit of a twist. Every time you search, they plant trees.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing concept, isn't it? I mean, who wouldn't want to help reforest the planet just by, browsing the web?
Exactly. And they've already planted a massive amount of trees, over 222 million, in fact, across like 35 countries.
Oh, it's incredible.
So for those who maybe haven't heard of Ecosia before, can you give us a quick rundown of what it is and what makes it so special?
Sure. Ecosia was founded back in 2009 by Christian Kroll. He's a German entrepreneur, and he really wanted to create a more eco-friendly alternative to the big guys, Google and Bing. He saw an opportunity to leverage the power of search to do something positive for the planet.
So instead of, profits just going into someone's pocket, they're actually being used to plant trees.
Exactly. Ecosia is a nonprofit organization, and their main focus is to fund reforestation projects all over the world. They make money through ads, just like other search engines, but they reinvest a big chunk of that revenue into planting trees.
Interesting. So the business model is pretty unique. But how do they make sure everything's transparent? How do we know the money's really going towards planting trees?
Transparency is really important to them, and they publish financial reports every month. So you can go on their website and see exactly how much money they're making, where it's coming from, and how much is being invested in planting trees.
That's good to know. So they plant trees, they're transparent about their finance. But what about the search technology itself? Did they build their own search engine from scratch?
It's been an interesting journey for them in terms of initially, they used Bing's search API to power their results. And they partnered with others too, like Yahoo and Wikipedia, even Google for certain types of searches.
So they weren't completely independent right from the start.
Right. And that reliance on bigger companies did raise some questions about how independent they really were and how it might affect the search result.
Yeah, I can see that it's a tough balance to strike, wanting to be independent but also needing to provide a good search experience for users. But things have changed recently, haven't they?
Yes, in September 2024, they announced a switch to using Google for search results. They said this would lead to a much better search experience for users.
So after trying to be an alternative to the big players, they've ended up partnering with Google. Seems a bit ironic, doesn't it?
It definitely sparked a lot of debate, yeah. Some people say this move undermines their goal of being truly independent and that it makes them more reliant on a company with a big environmental footprint, even if Google is trying to be more sustainable.
That's a fair point. It sounds like Ecosia is trying to address those concerns, though, by looking at ways to become more independent in the future.
Definitely. They're involved in a joint venture with a French search engine called Quant, called the European Search Perspective, or EUS, and the aim is to create an independent European search index.
Wow, so they're working with Google now, but at the same time trying to build their own independent index. That's ambitious.
It is. The idea is to rely less on U.S. tech giants and to tailor search results more to their own mission and European user preference.
So it's like a two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Using Google for now to offer a good experience, but working towards a more independent future. Any idea when this new European search index is expected to launch?
They're hoping to launch it in France and Germany by the end of 2025. It's a bold move. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
It definitely shows they're committed to finding that balance between a good user experience and staying true to their values of independence and sustainability. And they're not just focused on search technology, they're exploring AI too, right?
That's right. In late 2023, they launched an AI-powered chatbot. It's designed to make searches more conversational and intuitive.
Chatbot, that's cool. What makes it different from other chatbots out there? Is it just a regular chatbot with an Ecosia logo, or is there something more to it?
One of the coolest features is what they call Green Answer. The chatbot's designed to give you environmentally friendly information and suggestions.
Oh, so it's not just about finding information. It's about encouraging more sustainable choices.
Exactly. Imagine searching for travel options, and the chatbot pops up with suggestions for the most sustainable ways to get there.
That's really neat. It sounds like they're trying to make sustainability a natural part of search.
Yeah, and that innovative approach also extends to their leadership. Ecosia has a pretty unique setup when it comes to their
CTOs. You mean they have more than one chief technology officer?
They have two, a chief technology officer, I expect, but they also have a chief tree officer.
Chief tree officer. I've never heard of that. What does a chief tree officer do?
Their chief tree officer is Peter Van Mid, and he's responsible for all their reforestation projects. He coordinates with over 60 partner organizations, manages thousands of planting sites worldwide, and even uses satellite monitoring to track the progress.
Wow, that's a huge responsibility. It shows how serious they are about reforestation.
Absolutely. Having a dedicated chief tree officer is a testament to their core. It's not just for show, it's a part of how they're organized.
So we've talked about Ecosia's history, their unusual business model, how their search technology has evolved, their venture into AI, and their commitment to transparency and planting trees. They're doing a lot of good things. But like any organization, there are always challenges and criticisms. What are some of the concerns people have raised about Ecosia?
One of the main criticisms is about how effective tree planting initiatives really are. Some people question the survival rates of the trees, whether the types of trees they plant are suitable for the local ecosystems, and who's going to take care of these forests in the long term.
So it's not just about planting trees, it's about making sure they thrive and contribute to a healthy ecosystem.
Exactly, those are valid. And while Ecosia is working with reputable organizations trying to address, it's an ongoing challenge for any large-scale reforestation. Another criticism is that even with millions, Ecosia is still just a small part of the global search engine.
So can they really generate enough revenue to make a significant impact?
That's the question, and it's tied to another challenge, the move towards AI-powered search. Integrating AI can make things better for users, but it also requires a lot of resources and constant technological development, and that's where the big tech companies have a definite advantage.
So navigating those complexities and staying competitive is a big challenge for Ecosia going forward.
It is, but their innovative approach, their transparency, and their willingness to adapt, those things give them a real chance. And let's not forget, they've already planted millions of trees, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's true. But what does all this mean for us as users?
That's the key question, isn't it?
It is. It's something we should all think about.
I think it comes down to, realizing that we have power as users. Every time we search online, we're kind of like casting a vote for the kind of online world we want to see.
So it's about being more aware of the impact of our online action.
Exactly. It's easy to think one search doesn't really matter, but when you multiply that by millions of users, it really adds up.
So choosing Ecosia, it's almost like a small act of digital activism.
Yeah. I like that way of putting it. You're supporting a company that cares about sustainability, transparency, giving back.
But for a lot of people, the main thing they care about is convenience and getting good search results. Can Ecosia really compete with Google on that front?
That's a good point. And it's something they're working, as we talked about, they're using Google to power their search results, which means users get a good quality search experience. And their work on the European search perspective shows they're serious about developing their own independent technology for the future.
So they're trying to deliver a competitive search experience now while also aiming for more independence down the line.
Exactly. And their AI chatbot is another example of that innovative thinking. It's not just about providing links anymore. It's about creating a more interactive and informative experience.
And with those green answers, they're encouraging people to make more sustainable choices in a subtle way.
It's a smart way to integrate sustainability into the whole search process. They're not lecturing people or forcing anything, just giving them the information they need to make informed decisions.
Interesting approach. It suggests that technology can be a powerful force for good, but it's up to us to use it responsibly.
I think that's a really important point. We can't just expect technology to solve all the problems. We have to be actively involved, making choices that reflect our values.
So it's not just about choosing Ecosia or any specific product. It's about being critical of technology and asking ourselves, how can I use this to make a positive impact?
Exactly. Our digital actions have real-world consequences. The environmental footprint of our devices, the ethics of AI. We have to think about the bigger picture.
It's a lot to consider, can feel overwhelming some, but initiatives like Ecosia give me hope. They show it's possible to create a more sustainable and ethical digital world.
It's inspiring to see a company challenge the status quo like that and show that profit and purpose can go together.
It sets an example for other tech companies. But let's be realistic. Ecosia still has big challenges ahead. They need to keep growing their user base, navigate the complexities of AI, and keep working towards more independence.
Yeah, those are big challenges, but their track record of innovation, transparency, and commitment to their mission, it makes me think they...
And in the end, their success depends on us, the users. We have the power to choose to support companies that align with our values.
Absolutely. Every search, every clip, it all contributes to shaping the digital world. So the next time you open a new tab and start searching, think about the impact of are you supporting a company that's working towards a more sustainable and ethical future?
That's a powerful message. But before we wrap up, there's one more thing about Ecosia we haven't talked about. Their commitment to community engagement.
Oh yeah, that's right. They've been quietly supporting all sorts of social and environmental projects beyond just planting trees, like their work with Water for Good to provide clean water in the Central Africa.
So it's not just about environmental sustainability. It's about addressing those interconnected social issues too.
Exactly. They get it.
Yeah.
A truly sustainable future means thinking about the well-being of people and communities all over the world.
It's great to see a company that's not just talking about these things, but actually doing something about them.
It really sets the bar high for other tech.
So as we come to the end of this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from?
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see a company go beyond just, basic and actually make community engagement a part of their mission. So tell me more about some of these. They've been involved in a bunch of different projects that focus on both social and respond to environmental needs. Like, for example, they worked with Water for Good to give people access to clean water in the Central African Republic. It's had a huge impact on those communities.
So they're recognizing that you can't separate environmental health from social well-being.
Exactly. They're tackling issues like poverty and inequality because those things are often linked to environmental problems. They've also supported projects to protect endangered species, like orangutans in Indonesia, and they're working on restoring ecosystems in Brazil.
It sounds like they're taking a really holistic approach to sustainability.
Yeah. They're not just planting trees in a vacuum, they're trying to create a better world, more just for everyone. And they're doing it all while being super transparent about their finances and how they operate.
It's a great model for other companies to follow. They're proving that you can be successful and still be a force for good.
Absolutely. Ecosia is a perfect example of how a company can live by its value and make a positive impact on the world.
We've covered a lot today. Ecosia's business model, their focus on sustainability and privacy, how they're using AI, and their work in communities. They're more than just a search engine. They're a movement for change.
And that's what makes them so interesting. They're shaking things up, showing us that a different kind of tech company is possible, one that puts people and the planet first, not just profits.
But like we talked about, there are still challenges. They need to keep growing, keep innovating, and become more independent. What are your final thoughts on Ecosia's future?
Well, I think a few things are crucial for their success. They need to attract more users and really get the message out there about what makes them different. They need to stay ahead of the game in terms of technology, especially with AI, and they can't lose that commitment to transparency and accountability. They need to let users hold them to their own high standards.
And we as users, we have to make conscious choice about the companies we support. Every search can make a difference.
Exactly. When you choose Ecosia, you're not just searching, you're investing in a more sustainable and equitable future. You're saying you want a different kind of tech, one that aligns with your value, one that's committed to making a positive impact.
So the next time you open a new tab, think about the impact of your choice. It might seem small, but together, all those choices add up. They shape the future of technology. They affect the health of our planet.
We're all part of something bigger here. A movement towards a better world, and every search, every click brings us closer.
Well said. That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us today for this deep dive into Ecosia. It's a company that's doing things differently, and I think they're worth paying attention to. Until next time, keep searching for good.